that we are, all of us, endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But as it is written, let your gentleness be evident to all.
Now the State Department Deputy Spokeswoman Marie Harf. Marie, thanks very much for coming in.
Happy to be
like
here.
The White House, the State Department doesn't refer to Islamic extremism. Is that right?
Well, we've talked about terrorists who commit acts of violence in a perverted, warped vision of what they think Islam is, but we don't want to give them religious credibility. That's what they're looking for, and we don't want to give that to them because we don't think they have it.
So you're not using the phrase Islamic terrorism or Islamic extremism or violence or anything along. You don't want to use the word Islam at all, right?
No, the Secretary, when he's talked about this again, has said people commit acts of terrorism with a warped vision of Islam. The President has said the same thing.
This is not a case where parents were acting in the best interests of their children. This is a case where they flaunted their wealth, sparing no expense, to cheat the system so they could set their children up for success with the best education money could buy, literally. Some spent anywhere from $200,000 to $6.5 million for guaranteed admission. Their actions were, without a doubt, insidious, selfish, and shameful.
The news spread fast and quickly engendered panic amongst investors who gathered at the offices of their alleged swindler. Bernard Madoff was a Wall Street legend and pulled in big clients with big checkbooks.
They invested their money with Madoff, in some cases all of their money, tens of millions of dollars, which apparently he was taking, purporting to be getting 10, 15% returns on their money, when in fact he had lost all of it and was just continuing in a pyramid fashion to get more investors' money and pretending to pay off the old people with new people's money. And now $50 billion in assets are wiped out, gone.
Out of British Columbia this morning, a new report has found rampant money laundering fueling the province's notoriously hot housing market. Investigators found dirty money funded more than $5 billion worth of real estate deals in BC just last year. And that's about 3/4 of the total amount of money believed to have been laundered in the province.
I knew Shabazz, and I last saw him just a few weeks before he was murdered. He was murdered because he defended Christians and all other minorities against the blasphemy law in Pakistan. This is the law that calls for a death penalty if you insult the Islamic prophet of Muhammad, or death, life imprisonment if you defile the Quran. So it's very harsh punishments. It's used to persecute minorities, particularly Christians and Ahmadis. And so he was defending a particular Catholic woman, mother of 5, Asia Bibi, and he was murdered for that.
There's been a huge surge of high schoolers using e-cigarettes or vaping. E-cigarettes, though, carry a number of health risks. CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta has more now. And in some ways, they were turning to these because they thought they were safer than traditional cigarettes, right?
As far as high school fads, which often come and go, this one seems to be sticking, and there's a lot of concern about it, exactly for the reason you mentioned. There is a perceived harmlessness with this, but that's not the case.
A 30% increase is far more than our economy can sustain, and now we know that homelessness is costing us billions of dollars. On the other side of that, hundreds of people are dying on our streets. This is a crisis.
A 30% rise in homelessness since the last count 3 years ago. Vancouver saw a good chunk of that spike, logging more than 2,100 people homeless right now.
You can't just say, this is a Vancouver problem and that it's associated with the downtown east side, because that's not true. So we need to make sure the candidates and all the politicians and all the people that can do something to help are recognizing that this is a thing.